Eventually, people learn their lesson. And more often than not, that comes through pain. That's how Fingers Malloy learned not to put his hand inside the lawnmower.
You don't do that?
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com.
Dad said it builds character.
Oh, Dad didn't love you like you should.
Probably true.
Let me take you back, Fingers Malloy. Let me take you back. The year was 2016. A young Donald Trump was thinking about a political future, and people went to Starbucks like it was their job. A religion, perhaps, had to get themselves a soy latte, extra soy and extra latte. They had to say, you know what? I want a croissant. No, I'd rather have that cookie. Whatever's going to cost me $42. If you could just do that for me, Starbucks, that's where I want to be. And oh, by the way, your baristas are great. If they would just tell me more about their politics and their personal feelings about everything, then my life would be complete. Those were heady days, Fingers Malloy. The heady days of Starbucks. And Starbucks back then decided to tell America that, you know what, you did not have to order anything to be here. You didn't have to order nothing to be here. What you had to do, Fingers Malloy, was simply walk in to our shop and say, "Shopkeep." That's a Fingers Malloy impression I just did. Shopkeep. I'm gonna. What I need to do is I need to just take your chair right here. Well, that chair is for paying customers. Paying customers. Balderdash. And they would say words like that, and then people would grab dictionaries and look up what they mean. And yeah, they allowed non-paying customers to use their bathrooms and non-paying customers to sit in their shop. This, as we all knew it, was, I believe the Latin is a mistake. The dumbest idea in the world. People aren't paying, taking seats from paying customers, then trying to panhandle in the stores, utilizing the bathrooms, making messes of bathrooms. And Starbucks was like, we're just so inclusive, or whatever it was they were screaming. You remember these days.
They even included the arm wave that you just did.
Well,
we are so inclusive.
Right.
And they encourage the loitering Larrys and loitering Loises of the world to just hang out in Starbucks all day long. And when they would say, listen, Larry, isn't it about time you bought a steaming hot cup of Joe from us? And he would say, who can afford to buy a coffee at Starbucks? I'm just going to sit in your chair.
And so that's what they did. And that's what they did. Well, after all these years, they have now made the change that if you're going to be in their shop, you have to buy something.
Oh, hallelujah.
Eventually, everybody learns. Now, it's much harder to learn when you are in a cult. And it is. And it's much harder to learn when you're trying to learn on somebody else's dime. When you're spending somebody else's money, it's much harder to learn. You're not affected. But eventually, Starbucks looks at sales, then they look at cost of goods, right? And the increase in their COGS, the cost of goods, and they say to themselves, something is amiss here. And then they take a look at their bathroom cleaning costs or what's actually happening in their seating, and they're like, oh. And so they've learned their lesson, and so they are reversing course, as ABC News reports it, reversing their open door policy to prioritize paying customers. If you have to say the words, we've decided to prioritize paying customers, how were you ever in business to begin with, Fingers Malloy?
Well, don't you feel like they kind of dipped their toe into this whole world a few years ago during the pandemic, where there were complaints of homeless people coming in and just using the bathroom and then wrecking the bathroom? And I don't mean wrecking it as in I had 4 gas station burritos and went in there. I'm talking about just making
it could have been that.
It could have been that. But they were making a mess, and people were complaining, hey, I can't use the restroom in here because you've got a lot of homeless people, non-paying customers coming in here. And there was a backlash, if you remember. People were upset. I think this time around they said, listen, we are prioritizing paying customers.
We are prioritizing being in business. Why is that considered a problem. That is a standard. I accept the terms of your deal. I walk in, I hand you green pieces of paper that are dollars, which nobody uses them.
I was going to say.
I hand you a credit card, and then you hand me coffee. Now, the fact that you think you could charge me $6 is criminally insane. The fact that people pay the $6, equally criminally insane. But this is, how did it take them so long?
You know, what took them so long is the fact that they were seeing Starbucks struggling, and people are reevaluating if it's worth it to go into Starbucks to grab that $6 coffee, and they're reevaluating their priorities as consumers. And so now they're making it more welcoming for their coffee shop to bring people into.
I wanted to do this again. How did it take them more than 7 seconds? Why did it take the first 7 seconds? Do you really think you're a bad person? Did they think they were bad people by saying, sorry, you have to be a paying customer?
Mm-hmm.
They could have said anybody uses the bathroom, but no, you can't take up a chair if you're not a paying customer. That could have been I think that's a mistake, but at least you could have rationally said, we let people use the bathroom. It's who we are.
Like a gas station.
Like a gas station. But sit there and take up table space, that is ideological. And as a matter of just rational thought, that doesn't make any sense. But you're right, the backlash. This was the start of people really caving and businesses caving to all sorts of outrageous demands, regardless of where your politics are. There was it took place, this crazed caving to anybody's desires, anybody's feelings, of you have to do this, you have to do that. If you don't do it, well, we're going to, post a bad Yelp review or say bad things about you, or we're going to lead a protest against you, and then you're going to go out of business. And people saw their businesses being destroyed in other areas and spots, and it just exacerbated the situation. And maybe we just have turned a corner based on exhaustion. If you want to argue that it was the election, you can, but maybe the election was about exhaustion. This way of living where if you don't do everything right, you're vilified and you're destroyed. It's no way to live. There's your whole day spent walking on eggshells for fear that you might say the wrong thing to the wrong person in the wrong spot. Nobody wants to live like that. And maybe that's what this is.
I feel sorry for the people, if you're going to talk about that and have that conversation. I feel sorry for the people who have devoted their lives the last 10 years to outrage mining. Their whole brand.
Profit, their whole brand, their whole life is nothing but being outraged and being angered and finding the thing that you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, but they're gonna find the thing that you did wrong because they've decided that you somehow are wrong. They have profited off of that. They have been able to create opportunities for themselves. And if they're failing, well, then I feel good.
Oh, thoughts and prayers to those people.
Look at you. Look at you.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke, and Instagram @Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast. Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.